All of those are coming up. And also, why don't you show the award?
Oh, and this is the award, ladies and gentlemen. This is the MIGHTYcast award. We didn't have enough time to get with Amazon and be able to get a custom trophy made for the MIGHTYcast award winners. But next year, when we have more of a budget, we'll do something nice for you guys and we'll send it to you guys at your house, okay? So, but for my fighter of the year, drum roll, Mike Platinum Perry. Why do you laugh? Why is he laughing, ladies and gentlemen? I don't know why he's laughing. Mike Perry is my fighter of the year. Here's the reason why. Mike Perry has stopped 2 world champions in his last 2 fights. Now, Mike Perry has gone off the cuff and gone against the grain. What do I mean by that? This gentleman was, I felt, a very successful mixed martial artist. He's got big wins, and he did something different. He goes, I'm not going to have no coach in the corner, hand me water, tell me do this. I'm going to have my girlfriend do that and save me some money. And he did it, and he was successful. He won. And let's fast forward to his future. Now he is the king of violence. He's beat 2 of my good friends, Luke Rockhold and Eddie Alvarez, which those guys are no joke. I mean, he has embraced and embodied bare knuckle fighting, and that is why that gentleman gets my male fighter, best fighter of the year, Mike Perry.
You know, at first I was going to call you crazy, but I just pulled out the laptop and I just wanted to confirm what fights he did have in 2023. So his year started April 29th. That was against Luke Rockhold, the TKO in the second round. So he did have that in 2023. And then, of course, December 2nd, Eddie Alvarez. So he did only have a couple of fights, but I will say this is a very different year for Fighter of the Year. Usually there's a guy who like just clearly jumps out at you. And this year we had the opportunities to have a little bit more of an issue on it. And also this Fighter of the Year, we're not only doing, UFC.
Yeah, this is
for everything who you're the most impressed with.
Yeah, I think I saw him fight live against Luke Rockhold. And I remember when they made that match, I was like, wow, he's fighting Luke Rockhold. I mean, Luke Rockhold, tall, good southpaw. His best weapon are his kicks, which you couldn't do in bare knuckle fighting. But for what he went out there and fought Luke Rockhold, they were going back and forth, and then he ended up stopping him. Like, there's a thing to finish a fighter, right? When you finish them, where they don't have an option. But when a fighter actually quits, like, hey, dude, I'm done, like that you don't really see that in any form of combat, right? Like mixed martial arts, UFC, one championship, PFL, Bellator, whatever it is, you never see a fighter go, nah, I'm done, I'm good, I'm Gucci. You never see that. That's the last thing a fighter wants to do. But he made Luke Rockhold and Eddie Alvarez do that. Granted, it was medical reasons, but those guys still have to self-consciously says, I'm good, dog. This sport ain't for me. So that's why Mike Perry got mine, baby.
No, shit. Present him the award.
Oh, so hey,
there, this camera right here.
Hey, asshole, don't tell me what to do. Mike Perry, congratulations on winning my Demetrious Johnson Fighter of the Year. We'll put sound effects in there. There you go, dog. Congratulations.
Now we're gonna call these the first annual Mighty Award. So we got that first Mighty Award, the most important, the most prestigious award. You know, who cares?
On the internet.
Yeah. Who cares about Ariel Helwani's his little end of the year awards? Who cares about MMA Junkie?
Yeah, those are all.
No. This is the most prestigious that we got out here.
Yes.
Little SB. Demetrious will send you his actual SB. This is the 2017. What was this even for? Oh, best fighter. Wow. So
yeah.
We're gonna send you this SB, but no, I mean, and I think staying on Strickland a little bit. The most thing I love about Strickland, it's really not just about the fighting. I mean, he went 3-0. He upset Israel Adesanya. For me, it's more about how he broke out as a character as a personality. That there was, I mean, I did not know. I mean, everyone knew who Sean Strickland was, but I did not know his star potential until he beat Adesanya, and it just blew up. Like, he is legitimately one of the better promos. He's one of the better shit talkers. He's one of the better guys at just having a pulse on the internet and having people blow up. So I think I'm also rating it there because I know people are going to say, oh, Islam Makhachev beat Alexander Volkanovski twice in a year. He deserves it, which is very, very impressive. But I think it's more than that.
More magnitude. Because, you know, when you look at the Alex versus Islam, Alex is a natural 145er. Right, that's where he shined. That's where he's been most dominant. He hasn't had another fight at 155 besides for the belt, right? So we don't know how he would fare against other 155ers. But with Sean Strickland going 3-0 and also being Izzy Adesanya, I mean, like you said, that is very impressive.
When you weigh those guys, because if we're gonna say no one's gonna have Mike Perry as fighter of the year, unfortunately, that's who you're picking.
They all blind.
That's who you're picking. But if we had to say between the real guys that are going to be debated, Strickland or Islam, who would you have?
Why
between
is
those
my
two?
guy not? Why my guy not? I feel like you're just shitting on my pick right now. That's what I feel like you're doing.
I guess more specifically, just UFC.
You asked what my pick was, and I gave it to you. Now you're telling me to go against the grain. No, move on to the next one. How dare you?
No, but I will say with the Mike Perry though, and giving him the credit that it's due. Like if you look at the PFL. The bare knuckle fighting, one championship UFC. He's probably the most dominant, which I guess he is a champion now because they have their version of BMF. So if you look at it that way, I mean, shit. Who wants to fight that guy? Exactly. I would not want to.
Yeah. So like I said, I find it very unique because I was literally sitting here thinking like, hey, who is somebody where I'm like, wow, like I sit back. And I like, Mike Perry is very good about the way he goes about his fights, right? He's like, I'm going to get some and I'm going to give you some as well. And when I sit there, each time I watch him fight this year, I saw him fight once live and I watched the second fight in a hotel. And each time I watch him, I'm like, dude, like, oh my, that's the only time I'm like, oh my God, like, damn, like Mike Perry just made these guys quit. And I'm an athlete and you've wrestled before. Like, has there ever been a point in time where you wrestle somebody and you're like, I don't want to be here anymore?
Yeah, I mean, they're good enough.
yeah, right? Right? So there's only been one time in my whole career where I was like, I don't want to be here anymore. And that's when I was fighting Kyojo Horiguchi because I was super sick. And I was like, I don't want to be here anymore. But in all my, 35 fights in my whole entire career, I have never once had in my mind broken hand, broken leg where I'm like, I don't want to be here anymore. He made two high-level athletes do that. And I just found that very impressive. So, Michael, I know what you want to do. Let's go to the second one now.
Now, so here, next one, influencer fighter of the year. So this could really go across, it's kind of an open-ended award, and I think that the influencer scene, we can't deny the people who love it and look forward to these fights more than they do.
We look
UFC.
forward to it.
No, exactly.
Yeah,
it's disappointing when we don't have one of those big like influencer fights to hype and kind of preview. So who do you have as your influencer fighter of the year?
Influencer fighter of the year is Paul has taken the influencer fighting to a whole new level, right? At the very beginning of when he was doing this, I believe it was on, what was the very first thing it was on? It was not the Zone. It was on some like random, I don't know.
Yeah. Triller.
Triller. It was on Triller. And, at one point it's like, okay, this is a joke. And then he kept on doing it. He knocked out Ben Askren, knocked out Tyron Woodley. And then he beat, he just beat, who the guy he just beat?
Andre August.
Yeah, he just beat Andre August, see? The pizza boy. He just beat him. And he's going to continue to fight. And it's not about all his fights that he's done. It's also what he's done for other athletes, giving Salt Poppy, KSI, Slim, Amanda Serino, all these other athletes, a platform to be able to make money on. And now Amanda Serino is making the most money ever in her whole entire career, and she's been a world champion for a very, very long time. So I give it to Jake because he's very influenced. I enjoy breaking down his fights. I think of all of the athletes, I think Jake's the best, but I think KSI is more athletic. I think he understands the fundamental of boxing more. So my award goes to Jake Paul. Jake, I know you want to be a world champion. I know you ain't gonna get one of these motherfuckers anytime soon, SB, but you gonna get yourself a mighty award. Congratulations. There you go.
But I will say, and we might as well, while we're on the topic, actually before we go there, one thing I want to say, you caught the ire of a lot of people on Twitter and on YouTube with our debate of the Tate brothers versus the Paul brothers. Now we've looked into this more. We've done a little bit more research. We've broken down Tristan Tate as well.
Yep.
Where are you at right now as you stand looking at that matchup? Like, do you think, because a lot of people think you're just like a Jake Paul hater, which I think is just, I think it isn't fair, but they kind of look at like, I think Andrew Tate would beat him in like a boxing fight and stuff like that. But where are you at with that kind of Tate versus Paul brothers right now?
I truly believe that. I think it's going to come down to the grappling. It's going to come out to the wrestling and the grappling, because when it comes to boxing, I would have to give it to, I think Jake might beat Andrew in boxing, right? Just because he's older, he likes to stand like a tall tree, and he can try to catch him with a check hook. But then you have Tristan Tate taking on Logan Paul. I think Tristan can probably give it to Logan Paul. The biggest, those guys are older. When it comes to kickboxing, they win. There's no debate. They're gonna win. They're gonna kick the shit out of their legs or push kick them or whatever it may be. Then it's gonna come down to the jiu-jitsu and wrestling. Both the Paul brothers, they have a background in wrestling, so that's going to trump whatever they're going to do. So I'm going to have to go with the Paul brothers, because it's 1-1 each side. What's the tiebreaker is the wrestling, and that's what the Paul brothers have. And Tristan Tate, the Tate say wrestling doesn't work. It's fake. Jiu-jitsu doesn't work. Yeah,
so and I just forgot the number one thing people were referencing was you kind of saying that Tate has fought good competition.
He has.
And Jake Paul has fought pizza boys.
He did. His last fight.
His last one, but I will say, though, he did fight as much as it was a 50-year-old Anderson Silva.
Yes, he did.
And then he did fight Nate Diaz, but yes. I mean, Nate Diaz isn't a boxer. But
exactly. But if you look at the caliber of the guys and it's nothing against, Nate, Tyron Woodley, Ben Askren, all those guys. He picked him, not handpicked, but he fought those guys when those guys were out of their prime, right? Nate Diaz, Anderson Silva, Tyron Woodley, they're not in their prime, right? And he's also fighting these guys who are outside of their specialty, right? When you look at Andrew Tate, everybody he spot are all specializing in kickboxing. So they're all kickboxer. Tyron Woodley's not a boxer. Anderson Silva's not a boxer. Nate Diaz is not a boxer. There's a reason why you're seeing MMA guys go to boxing. You don't see a lot of boxers go to MMA. It's not because it's hard, because there ain't no money in MMA. Every single MMA guy who's gone to boxing, what do they say? This is the biggest check I ever got in my whole entire life. You'll never see a boxer come to MMA because, one, it is harder because they got to do wrestling and all that other stuff. But two, the money's not good in MMA. So that's why you see it. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This video is sponsored by G Fuel. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I know you guys want that good old energy pump. Whether you're playing video games or you're at the gym lifting weights. Now, if you want to give G Fuel a try, make sure you guys go to gfuel.com. They have so many amazing flavors. They got the clickbait. They also have the watermelon lemonade. And you guys already know what my flavor is. My favorite flavor is Mega Man, the blueberry slushy. All you got to do is go to gfuel.com, and when you make all your purchase, make sure you use my promo code MIGHTY. That will save you 20% on your purchase, and you can have a nice energy boost when you're at the gym or when you're gaming, playing Street Fighter 6 or Call of Duty. Back to this beautiful episode of the Mighty Awards.
Do you think Jake Paul will make his PFL MMA debut in
I
2024?
think he will. Yes, I believe we will see Jake Paul in mixed martial arts in 2024. I believe that PFL has the funding to be able to give this man a $10 to $15 million paycheck. Now, Don Davis said that he will write him and Nate Diaz a check for $15 million. The only thing that's stopping is that Nate Diaz doesn't want to do the fight. I don't understand why. I think it's an easy fight for Nate Diaz to win. Take it down, pass his guard, submit him. But for some reason, Nate Diaz doesn't want to do it. So we'll see what happens. But I hope and I believe that we will see we will see Jake Paul in mixed martial arts in 2024. I'm hoping so.
If it's not Nate Diaz, who do you think? Because I'm going to tell you who I think the opponent makes a lot of sense that I just heard call him out a couple days ago. Tyron Woodley, I would love to see that. Doesn't that make a ton of sense now?
Yeah, because they fought twice.
Yeah, and it's like, now let's see it in MMA. I would love to see it.
Yeah, and you know, the thing is that, okay, so Jake Paul is younger, so he's going to have potentially the better gas tank. And he's already beat Tyron Woodley twice. He's knocked him out once, and he went to decision. So now it would be interesting to see what can happen, because they're both wrestlers, right? I mean, I don't think Jake Paul is not as good as a wrestler as Tyron Woodley, but Tyron Woodley's he's also older. He's in his 40s. So I really see that fight more than Nate Diaz. I really see Jake Paul versus Tyron Woodley, because I know there is going to be a circus, any balloons, any like, oh, man, none of that like gangster talk or whatever. You're going to see two guys like, hey, we're going to fight, and it'll be good. I'll be here to watch it.
So while we're on the influencer topic, I wanted to give my dude, there's no award for him necessarily, but Dylan Dennis, I wanted to give him a little bit of props, because we had a lot of fun covering this dude in 2023. I mean, it was some of our highlights of just his tweets, just the buildup of who's gonna win Dylan Dennis versus Logan Paul, because it's hard to remember with how the fight turned out, obviously, but it was somewhat unpredictable of like, how's this fight gonna look. So it was a lot of fun. So given that, there's a lot to choose from.
It was easy when he said that Logan Paul's wife, what's her name again?
Nina Agdal.
Yeah, Nina Agdal. When she was like, I just want a big fat sausage to destroy my body. And he posted that. I lost. I couldn't handle it. I was like, guys, this is too much. Following Dylan Dennis, I'm a fan. I'm following it. And that was probably the best part leading up to the Logan Paul fight. Was all the tweets back and forth.
I had a feeling you were gonna pick that, so I actually have. I don't even know if the video is still. I'm sure we could find it somewhere on the internet.
You can find it on our shorts. It's on our shorts.
Oh, it is. Okay, that's good. But so I'm gonna read right now what it says in the video. So this is a video that Dylan Dennis. He might have got this by illegal means at this point, because he's in a lawsuit. But so Nina's in bed, and this is what she says. By the way, I'm very proud of myself, because this is the longest I've gone without sex since I've started. Obviously, it's driving me crazy. I'm struggling. I need a penis inside of me ASAP. Like, all I want is a big fat sausage just destroying my body. So if any of you guys know a good dick that doesn't have STDs on it, I'll take it right there. I mean, that is like, it's almost like an SNL skit of like, how does this exist? Like, it was so perfect timing. Like, every day it got better and better. So Dylan Dennis, your fight was terrible, but
yeah,
round of applause for just that. We had a lot of fun, so we wanted to give you some recognition. And you can't talk about the best of 2023 without talking about the worst of 2023 too. So
yeah, oh man, that shit was hilarious.
Any other parting thoughts on? I will say one last thing. Let's talk about Dylan Dennis. There's been some chatter. I don't think it's real, but some chatter of, should UFC sign Dylan Dennis? What do you think about that?
You know, why not? I mean, I think the UFC loves to have give guys an opportunity to try to make a run at it, right? You know, we know he's going to sell tickets. We know he's going to be a good lead up to fights. I mean, you gave CM Punk an opportunity. You gave guys who have less wins anything chances. What I mean by that is that, Dylan Dennis does have a legit jiu-jitsu background. I mean, CM Punk was just a WWE wrestler who had a big following. You look at Mike Jackson. I mean, there's so many other guys out there. So I think you give Dylan Dennis a shot. If anything, he could be what's what I'm looking for, where somebody's like, he could be a liability. But I think in the day, why not? I mean, what's the worst that can happen? Right? Like, what, he bombs? I mean, who cares? I'll watch. I can't wait to the tweets. Have him fight Ian Gary. Those would be great tweets between him and his wife.
No, so Dana White, if you're listening to this right now, which I'm sure you are,
listening to this shit.
Yeah, no, you are fine. All of our fans, please do whatever you can. Tweet at him, post on Instagram. We're gonna start a campaign right now, starting on the MIGHTYcast. Dylan Dennis for UFC. We're starting it right now. Everyone, do anything in your power to get Dylan Dennis to sign with UFC. That is our goal. the Mighty Awards, MIGHTYcast goal for 2024, get Dylan Dennis signed by UFC.
Oh, man. What's the next one?
So next one, we're going to do performance of the year. Now, this one, I'll be honest, I only made this award because I want to say what mine is. But so I wonder if you'll be thinking on the same lines to me. But this could be in any of the combat sports. What was the performance where you're like, this one's standing out among the rest that I'm going to remember the most this year?
I think Islam versus Volk. I think what Islam did to Volkanovski, the second fight, it was clean. He didn't take any damage. He used the longest weapon in his arsenal, which is his leg kick. Well, not leg kick, but the body kick from southpaw position. And then he picture perfect went up above and knocked out, at that time, the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world. So my award goes to Islam Makhachev. I'm not sending this to wherever you're at, but congratulations on winning the Mighty Award for Best Performance of 2023. Congratulations.
No, and just sticking on that a little bit longer, I think we're going to learn even more about that performance when we see Volkanovski versus Topuria in February, because if let's just say Volkanovski cruises, we'll just be like, shit, that shows how good Islam is. Yeah. So I'm curious to see if Volkanovski uses this as, him just starting to show this point of his career where, I'm getting up there, and maybe we start seeing him take L's, or if it was like, okay, he went up in weight class. He's already not necessarily a small 145, but he's already not like this massive 145 or something. I mean, he was very undersized at 155. So I think we'll learn more about it in February, seeing how Volk looks the next time out. But
because the last time we saw Volk out, the last 2 times was when he fought Islam. And they both been, the first time he fought Islam was really good. It wasn't like he was doing bad, right? But then he did take that Volk fight, the Islam fight on short, 2 weeks notice, 10 days notice. And you can see it paid dividends. It didn't really pay out for him.
Yeah, so getting back to why I picked the performance of the year, because I wanted to, and actually I forgot I have a hoodie of him over there that I want to pull out. But the performance that sticks out for me in 2024 2023 above the rest is Francis Ngannou versus Tyson Fury. Because and you know what, you judges go yourselves. I don't even. He won that fight, so you can't be like, oh, you're giving a performance of the year for someone who lost. Like, no, he won the fight. So I just think it's important to acknowledge, like, this is shit that like movies are like. You'll see a movie that does something like this, and you're like, "Oh, this is bullshit." Like this guy who just is coming from Africa, like he's poor. You see those pictures of him. He wasn't even like jacked or anything.
It was like poor man Francis.
Yeah,
he was like,
and he comes. He doesn't just win a UFC title. He leaves on top. Goes to boxing. Goes against the undefeated lineal heavyweight champion of the world in boxing. His first boxing fight, he didn't do amateur, nothing. And I don't care what those judges say, he won that fight. He deserved to get the hand raised. That is my performance of the year, and one of the most memorable combat sports performances I've seen in recent years. So I wanted to give Francis Ngannou the props there.
Well, give him the goddamn thing. Here you go, Francis. This one's from Michael for your performance against Tyson Fury. You look absolutely amazing. Where are you going right now? I'm trying to give out a word. You're being super rude. Oh, you've seen your shirt on right now, Francis. I apologize. But yeah, you're absolutely right. He did an amazing job. Going into that fight, everybody thought he was just going to get absolutely worked. But did he prove all of us wrong?
So moving on, now we did already do a spoiler of this, and we talked about it a little bit. We had, like you said, it wasn't Volkanovski going against Islam in a whatever it was, 2 weeks notice. This was full camp. So why is that your fight of the year?
I think the biggest thing is it's not very rare. It is more rare nowadays, but it's kind of very intriguing when you see a smaller athlete go up against a bigger athlete, especially someone like Islam Makhachev, who's only had 1 loss in his career, comes from an amazing camp, Eagle MMA, Habib Nurmagomedov. For Volkanovski to go up there and hang with him, in a lot of people's eyes, a lot of people thought Volkanovski won. And the fight was back and forth. Islam had his back. Islam was throwing the body kick. Islam rocked Volk rocked Islam. The fight was literally truly back and forth and super entertaining to watch. So that's why that got my vote for fight of the year, right? That's what it was?
Yep.
Yeah, fight of the year. It was just back and forth. That was like one of the fights that, I mean, you think about it, we're doing the awards at the very end of the year. That was February.
Yeah, so
right. So that's like
we're approaching the year anniversary of it.
And that was like the best fight. And I was like, that fight was a banger. And even when I broke it down, I was still like into it. So that's why I give it the mighty order. That's why the fight of the year goes to Islam Makhachev and Alex Volkanovski for your guys' first fight in February of this year. Congratulations, gentlemen. Now, this is very hard because there's a lot of damn knockouts this year. A lot. Not just in the UFC, but also in the PFL, one championship. And my knockout of the year goes to Chinguez versus Superbond.
Hello everyone, Chingiz is here. I'm super happy and honored to accept many world knockout of the year 2023 against Superbond. See you next year. We will do even better.
Now, Chinguez is an absolutely monster at kickboxing. He won the World Grand Prix in kickboxing and won championship. And he knocked out Superbond with a beautiful combination right hand and just slept Superbond. Now, Superbond just had a fight with Taiwan Chai. And if you go back, actually, that was like one of my first fights I ever commentated on was the knockout against Chinguez against Superbond. It was absolutely amazing. So Chinguez, my man, congratulations on winning the knockout of the year, a MIGHTYcast Awards, the Mighty Awards. Congratulations, my friend. You earned it. It was, you gotta watch it. It was fun.
No, and we're allowed to show the one championship videos on this YouTube. So we're gonna add that knockout right here, and
yes,
you guys will see it. That's one thing I love about one championship is seeing all the different disciplines, and just it's just funny because when you see a Muay Thai knockout or a kickboxing knockout or an MMA knockout, they're all different. Like there's certain ways you could get knocked out that's probably not going to happen in MMA, and you could get knocked the out in kickboxing and Muay Thai. Like there's
well, the thing is different about like, you know, kickboxing, Muay Thai, MMA. If I drop you, I can follow up and like finish you, right? But in kickboxing, he dropped them not just once, he dropped them 3 times in one round. He's like, pop, drops him. He's like, oh, he gets up. He's like, oh, I'm okay. And he's like, what? No, you ready? He goes, yeah. And he goes right back into him, drops him again, and then he comes back in for the third time, hits with he crosses distance, throws a high kick, hits with a beautiful right hand, and just flattens him. Just, whew. So he dropped Chinguez.
Yeah, mine is Josh Emmett versus Bryce Mitchell. I mean, that was violent. I mean,
oh god.
And good for Bryce Mitchell being a good sport. And like, I don't know if you've seen this stuff he said after, like, because it could have gone like he could have been bitter about it or
1000%.
Been down about it, but he was just grateful because a knockout of that magnitude, it's like, dude, I'm alive. I woke up so I could kind of appreciate it. Like, because we even talked with Aljo, we had him on the MIGHTYcast. He mentioned when he was knocked out cold by Maurice. Marlon Moraes, that he said he didn't even really wake up until he was at the hospital.
He says, doesn't count if you don't remember it.
Yeah. Yeah, so like that's some scary stuff, and Josh Emmett is just soap. And give that dude credit too, because he had a really tough year having to go against Topuria and Yair Rodriguez, who were both losses, but it's like those are extremely tough opponents to go against. And he proved like he's still
he still got it. He still got it. And I feel like he had an injury, a very big injury in between that time frame. I think he might have torn his ACL or something like that. I'm not sure, but yeah, he still got that right hand rocket where he hit Bryce Mitchell. I had a Kaiko over the house, and Kaiko goes, I think he dead, boys. Boys, don't watch the TV, because when he hit him, he just like flatlined. And it was you get this.
Josh Emmett gets an honorary one. No, that was big ass overhand right. Now, submission of the year. Who do you got?
All right, so submission of the year. God, I think I'm gonna have to go with Alexa Grasso versus Valentina Shevchenko, where she got her the first time in the rear naked choke and compressed her jaw, right? Because a lot of times when you see the rear naked choke, you always see the athlete go for the neck. Like they're like, I just want to get underneath the chin and the neck. But you see her do it. Like she counters a spinning back kick, jumps on her back like a spider monkey, locks up the choke, gets her arms locked, and just compresses the jaw. And then when they let go, when Valentina finally tapped and she let go, her whole side of her face was completely pale white, where she was getting choked, and it was going to break her jaw. So that, and it also gave her the opportunity to be the first Mexican female fighter champion in Mexico's history. So that's why she got it from me. Congratulations, Alexa Grasso, on this award. Good for you. You got to do it again to see what happens. Who is your submission of the year?
Yeah, so mine's has to go to Jon Jones. Just having him come back and then go against Ciryl Gane and then just submit him the way he did was extremely impressive. And it was just one of those things where you see an athlete who's so dominant that you're just like, it had to be how it felt when you saw Michael Jordan against the Portland Trail Blazers in the NBA Finals, when he hit 6 threes in the first half and then he does the shrug, like, that famous MJ moment. Like, that's what it felt like with Jon Jones. Like, dude, you haven't fought for, 3 years. He comes in there and it's like, oh, that was like really easy.
Yeah, it's probably the easiest paycheck he ever made in his life.
Yeah, like he I think he got technically hit one time maybe, and he just takes him down and just finishes him up against the cage. Like and he hasn't fought since, and it's like he just establishes his dominance, and that was all we saw of him. Unfortunately, in 2023, we were supposed to see him one more time in November, but I will still say for me, I'm going to give that to Jon Jones.
It's crazy, Jon Jones has been on top for almost 2 decades now. Like, I feel like it's been 2 decades. Right? Like, it feels like it's 2 decades. Maybe it's not, because I started fighting in the UFC in 2011, and I think that was his UFC debut as well. UFC 126. What was his debut? Well, at least he's been dominant. That's kind of crazy. I've been dominant for a decade. No, I haven't been dominant for a decade.
Yeah, so Jon Jones, he made his UFC debut at UFC 87 in actually 2008.
So 2008. So he's got 4 more years to be dominant for 2 decades. That's crazy. But he's been so dominant, and I've always been a big fan of Jon Jones and always continue to be. He's my GOAT. I just truly feel each time he has fought anybody, Rampage Jackson, Lyoto Machida, Vitor Belfort, the list just goes on. Now Ciryl Gane, I truly believe he didn't have to go up to heavyweight to be able to do what he did to Ciryl Gane. I believe he could have stayed shredded, mean, 225, slick, fast, still have his abs, not a gut belly, to be able to do what he did to him. But yeah, very amazing performance, especially off a 3-year layoff against somebody who is, very active as a heavyweight and light on the feet. Because I remember when you guys were working with Jon Jones in Fight Ready.
Yeah, no, it was interesting for me because I got John in a little trouble for us. For spoiling the Ciryl Gane, because basically how it went, we're at the gym and they already screwed up the arena at T-Mobile Arena, like it flashed it, so everyone already knew. So then I just went up to him like, hey, so you're fighting Ciryl Gane, what are your thoughts? Like, so we both thought like the news was already out, but then I guess they had some like Stephen A announcement or something like that on ESPN where they were where they were gonna like announce it. But no, so it was cool for me getting to see him in person. It was a big deal, like him training. No one really got to film him training, so getting to do that was really cool. And just seeing him, he was massive. I mean, we're talking, he had to be 250. I mean, I forgot what he weighed in at officially, but he
like 263.
No. He weighed in much less than that, but I think it's because he did lose a little bit of weight as it got closer. But at his peak, he was probably like maybe 255, something like that. So with Jon Jones looking to 2024, What do you want to see in his next matchup?
I think we see him. I think we see Jon Jones fight one time, and I think he rides up to the sunset. There's nothing left for this man to prove, right? I don't think he has to fight Tom Aspinall. I don't think he has to fight these young, hungry new heavyweights. I saw Tom Aspinall said something that Jon Jones never really fought legit light heavyweight guys. And I sat there and I thought about that and I was like, is that true? I mean, Vitor Belfort, he's a middleweight. Lyoto Machida is a middleweight. Rampage Jackson is a true light heavyweight. I started to go there and I'm like, why would he say something like that? And some of the guys that Jon Jones has beaten has been true, I feel like, middleweights, but it doesn't take away from his greatness. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I think we see Jon Jones fight one time this year, and I think this man rides off in the sunset.
Here's one that's very near and dear to both of our hearts. Favorite street beef. All right. What is your street beef of the year? Because I have one that's by far my favorite.
Favorite street beef for me. This is before Michael came on to the YouTube team, and you had this guy. I called him the Penguin because he ran across the cage and he started hitting the guy, and the guy took a shot. He goes. He turns his, like, he gets hit. He turns his face, and then the Penguin hits him like this. Then once he hits him a couple times, he goes, "Oh, you don't hit hard. You don't hit hard." Just bulldog rushes him, beats the shit out of him, and it was my favorite, man. My favorite. The Panther versus Penguin.
Can you guess which one is my favorite?
Probably the Jewish Hammer.
No. Death sentence versus. Well, I am Death City!
I'm gonna do this fight in 2 seconds! But hey, go ahead, tell you, go ahead.
I just death sentence every time he just starts off like, I'm death sentence. What does he say? I'm gonna finish this in 2 seconds. Is that what he says? And then how he closes the distance is like just right away. It's like the most. It's the most graceful, like, just, but kind of effective.
My God. I enjoy street beef. That's what kind of got me on this reaction train, because I always wanted to bring comedy into mixed martial arts, like breaking down fighting. And that's what brought me the love of breaking down fights. So Penguin and the Panther, and to street beef, this one goes to you guys. I truly appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity to break down the fights. And I love it. And I love the athletes' names. Like the last one I just did was Cigarette versus, I forget the other guy.
Joe something.
Yeah, Boogie Joey, something like that. What did you guys see that one? That one was, she. All right, and yours was.
Yeah, Death Sentence versus Miles.
Yeah. And then when he fucking had that joke, he says,
yeah, I forgot because Miles wouldn't let go of the joke. No, so please check out the best part about the street beefs. Like, they're evergreen content. You guys can just check it out to get a good laugh.
But no, remember he had him, and then he goes, "All right, let him go." And then he got him, he punched him like the head, and he grabbed him.
I forgot the 51-year-old too was one of the best ones as well. Yeah. God, there's been many good. It's harder for us to. I like how it's harder for us to choose the street beef fight of the year than it is for us, like, in all of MMA. Like, it's like, oh, this one.
There's so much great content on the street beef because, one, all the athletes, like. Have you watched the tag team one yet?
No, I haven't.
Oh, dude. All right.
So that street beef of the year, we are gonna keep. We're gonna keep going strong. And you know, I want to see Death Sentence do something big in 2024. maybe we have a collab with him. I would love to see him train with you. Maybe he'll teach you a couple things. Yeah. No, so I mean, right now I'd say we nailed all of the awards. So now it's really mostly about what's your bold prediction for 2024.
You know, I think my bold prediction of 2024. I think we're gonna see a lot more amazing fights. I think we might see a lot of new champions. You know, you have Ilia Topuria taking on Alex Volkanovski. You have Sean Strickland taking on DDP. We have the return of Jon Jones, potentially return of Conor McGregor. We're going to have some good matchups in One Championship. Anatoly's going to fight RDR for his 3rd belt. I don't ever think there's been a 3 divisional champion. Don't know how I feel about it. I mean, like, I understand it's cool to collect all these belts, but is there literally nobody left in the division for you to defend your belt in?
Yeah, and shout out to Rod Ting as well. We're going to see him fight in January.
January Takura. The thing is I think 2024 is going to be a banger year. We got a lot of great fights in the pipeline. We got a lot of content for you guys coming out. We have some stuff coming from OnlyFans, some exclusive stuff, and I'm super excited. What do you hope to see in 2024?
Yes, I mean, I would say what a little pivot. What is your favorite fight of 2024 that has been announced? Because I'll say mine first. I would think probably as we tape right now, we're still waiting on that UFC 300 card. But with the information we have right now, I'd probably say Volkanovski Topuria is probably the fight right there. I mean, at least for me.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Ilia versus Topuria, Ilia Topuria versus Alex Volkanovski, because we've seen Alex Volkanovski be so dominant at 145, and Ilia Topuria has gone through some pretty amazing fights, and I think he does everything right. His boxing's clean. He passes guard. He's got a great wrestling background, it seems like. That is probably the fight that I'm most excited about in mixed martial arts. I think in Muay Thai, kickboxing, it would probably be the Rod Ting versus Takura. That one. Only thing is I want to see Rod Ting use his elbows. I think it's his strongest weapon. But it's going to be some dope fights.
But no, I think that's it. And just one last shout out to Mike Perry.
Mike Perry!
Mike Perry!
Mike Perry, fight of the year! Mike Perry, shout out to Mike Perry, fight of the year, and shout out to all of the other athletes who won the Mighty Awards. We truly appreciate you guys, and thank you guys to all our fans and subscribers out there. We truly appreciate you guys tuning in to the show, because me and Michael, we truly love creating content around just combat sports, not just the UFC, but PFL, One Championship, street beefs, influencer boxing, whatever it may be. If you guys keep on coming here and showing us a love and leaving those amazing comments in the comment section, we'll keep on producing content. So we are your hosts, Demetrious Johnson and my good friend Michael Wandover, and we will see you guys at... Oh, and actually before we get off here, make sure you guys leave a comment and tell us who your guys' award should go to. If you guys don't believe Mike Perry is my fight of the year or Sean Strickland, who do you guys think is the fight of the year or performance of the year? We would love... He's turned his lights on.
Anyone who's listening, I'm wearing a sweater that is South Park. What does it say? I'm a lonely... What does it say on it? I can't even read it.
I'm a lonely Jew on... It is,
on Christmas.
On Christmas.
Yeah, so it's Kyle from South Park, and it's just flashing lights right now. So sorry for the listeners that just, if you can't see the visual, head to YouTube. That's why you got to watch it on YouTube.
Yeah, that's right. So make sure you guys come back and check us out in 2024. It's gonna be a banger year. Make sure you like, subscribe, and also hit the bell to know when we go live in the game to make the right picks at the right place, which is Price Picks. Shout out to Price Picks for sponsoring this MIGHTYcast. Let's get back to our guest, Nate Diaz. Well, another beautiful day. Well, Nate, I'm not going to lie to you. You had me waiting a very long time, and I was going to give you a pass and just let you know, since it's about marijuana, you get a free pass. So,
why does it got a little shitty bag of weed? I also got a cup with some weed in it, too. I'm in love. All the weed plugs that come through. And my bad, Demetrious. I didn't mean to be late like that too. This is the story of my life.
I appreciate. Well, I think you should probably get somebody who can, coordinate all that for you, or, I don't know what the driving's like in California where you're at.
People there, and I'm uncontrollable.
Well, all right, let me bring us in. All right, 3, 2, 1. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of the MIGHTYcast, and I got a special guest for you guys today, Nate Diaz, 209, the gangster. Nate, thank you so much for giving us the time. It's all good. You were late. You're here now. You got your marijuana. You're ready to rock and roll. You good to go, brother?
Let's do this.
Okay. Nate, I'm going to start off. I feel the first time I got exposed to you was when you were in The Ultimate Fighter. You had this type of style about you where, you didn't speak much. You kept it cool, calm, collected, and you won The Ultimate Fighter, beating Manny Garbarian, and then you were in the UFC. I'll never forget when you choked homeboy out with a triangle choke. You flipped off the cameras. You're like, yeah, got you, motherfucker. Talk me through your rise in the UFC when you first got into the sport of mixed martial arts.
Well, I was fighting. I had about 7 fights for the Ultimate Fighter. And my brother was in UFC, and I was cornering him against Jimmy Jackson, Robbie Lawler, Carl Parisian. Who else was there? A whole bunch of guys before I even got in. And I started fighting. I remember I fought in Japan for my second fight against a guy that Nick beat. And I was supposed to fight the guy. Nick fought a guy named Kojuishi, and he fought him in New Jersey at the Trump Taj Mahal. Is that what it's called? Trump Taj Mahal? He fought him at that casino. And I went cornering him, and all week long he was walking around with his little Japanese homie, two of them, and this little fucker was looking at me and my boy Randy. He was looking at us funny all week. I was like, fuck that guy. His training partner, cornerman. And Nick knocked out Kojuishi and like quick TKO'd him in like a couple minutes. And I got home. We took the long flight home from New Jersey. We got home and the phone called. And they're like, hey, Kojuishi training partner wants to fight Nate Diaz. This is my second fight. And I was like, all right, cool, good. And so we signed to fight him in Japan about 2 or 3 months later. And we flew to Japan, and we got there, and they're like, okay, something happened with your opponent, and now you're fighting if you want to take the fight, you're fighting Kojuishi, the guy my brother just TKO'd. I fought him, and it was when I said yes to it. A day later, they had posters of me and Kojuishi, the main event in Japan, fighting. So I was like, and we were like, these motherfuckers set us up. wanted to get, you know how the Japanese are, they wanted to get redemption for how he just got beat by Nick. So that's how we took it. And then so I headlined against him in Japan for my second fight, and I lost a decision. And I was like, fuck, my record's already screwed. I won it right off the bat. So I had a half and half record, and I remember going home with that. And I was like, well, fuck it. If I got half and half record, now I gotta win 10 more fights so everybody can forget about that one. I trained for a good amount of time. I think I didn't fight for like 7-8 months, and then I was a broke little kid, and I fought once, and then I fought again about 2 months later. And about 2 months after that, and then I started doing the math in my head, and I was like, fuck, if I fight every 2 months, I'm going to be paid. I could eat and buy whatever I want. And I'm only getting paid like $500 a fight, $700 a fight, $800 a fight. That was a lot of money to me at the time because I used to budget $20 for a week. So I was like, hell yeah, I thought I was getting the system. I'm like, if I just fight every 2 months, I'm good. So I was just fighting every 2 months, and I fought 5 times in a row that year, and that was the richest I ever been. And my fifth fight that year, they called me. They had dropped the lightweight division from the UFC, and at the time there was Josh Thompson, Hermes Franca, BJ Penn, Matt Serra. And those were the guys at lightweight division. Those guys were superstars to me as far as I was concerned. And then they were talking about how the UFC, Dan White was hooked in with the WEC, where I was fighting all those times. I fought 5 times that year, and it was in WEC. And then they're like, hey, we want you to fight Hermes Franca for the title. And I was like, Hermes Franca? I hadn't been watching Hermes Franco fight in the UFC, and I was actually like, this guy's dope, you know, because I was all jiu-jitsu and stuff, and he was a black belt. He was in there. He fought entertaining to me, and I was like, all right, cool. So I was fought for the lightweight title in the WC against Hermes Franco, and everyone was like, Dana White's gonna be here. Dana White's gonna be there, scouting the card or whatever, and so I went in there and I teed off on Hermes Franco, whooped his little ass for a whole round, and then got caught in the armbar.
Shit.
But I had a lot of respect for the game and the sport, and I knew who Hermes Franco was. He got me an armbar. I was like, oh shit, I got tapped out. I knew I was only a purple belt at the time. I got caught slipping, and I was like, fuck. So I got tapped out, and I was pissed. I was like, fuck, but I wasn't ignorant. I was like, this motherfucker got me slipping. So I got caught up in that, and I was pissed. But everybody was like talking about how I whooped his ass for a round. Who gives a shit? I ended up losing, and but Dan White was there, and he watched me whoop his ass. And then he called my coach Caesar, called me that they want you on the Ultimate Fighter. They said you ain't got to try out, none of that, because there was tryout for the Ultimate Fighter, I guess. That I didn't even know about, and they were like, "You're on. All you gotta do is show up." And I started laughing. I was like, "I ain't going to Ultimate Fighter," because me and my brother already watched the last 4 Ultimate Fighters, and we were like, "What?" We watched the first one, and we're like, "That shit is ridiculous." We laughed at the show, called it stupid, made fun of the guys, but like, that's retarded. And I was like, yeah, right. That's a clown show. And then Caesar and Nick. Caesar's like, hey man, I think you should go. You got to go. I'm a soldier, you know. That's the coach. I'm like, what the fuck? I don't know. So I go talk to Nick like for backup. Like, yo, Nick, this was trying to tell me to go to the Ultimate Fighter. I ain't going to that shit. And he's like looking at me, and I'm roasting Ultimate Fighter, and he's looking at me all serious. He's like, I think you should go. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? We just clown on this show together. And he was like, because they wanted him on there for the comeback season or something. He didn't do it. He went off and did some. I think that's when he went to another fight show, or not yet. He was like, fuck that, I ain't going to that. And he did. I think he fought Josh Neer, and he pieced out after that. Well, I was like, I thought we were on the same page, and fuck that show. And he's like, look, he looked at me like, I'm already established in this fight shit. And he's like, you should go there and get it done. And I told Caesar, I was like, I'm gonna leave in the middle of the night. I'm not gonna go sit on no fucking show. And he's like, that's fine. Go out there and go in there, see how it is, and then leave if you want. I like, but so I was like, all right, I packed my shit, went to the Ultimate Fighter, and hated it the whole time. And then it was a wrap, and then fucking did the show, won the show. Everything took off from there.
Well, I mean, it's a good thing that you did it because, I mean, like you said, look how well your career turned out, right? Like, you won the show, you won a couple of fights, and then I felt like you've always been a fan favorite athlete, you know, a true fighter's fight. Like, when Nate Diaz shows up, he's always going to go out there and fight and put on a good show. I felt once you locked horns with Conor the very first time, you stepped in on, I believe it was short notice, you know, I believe that build up to the fight was perfect. You know, you were talking about him, how he was out in the jungle doing fucking, you know, backflips with a whole jungle boy. Forget the guy's name. Yeah, and a park that was probably like the best build up. And then the fight was absolutely amazing. Conor was giving it to you just a little bit, then you came through. You ended up getting a submission. Now, I've had another guest on here, Dustin Poirier. He talked about the red painting night. Now, I'm assuming you experienced red painting night because I'm sure you had some pay-per-view points on that. Was that probably the biggest paycheck you got from fighting Conor McGregor when you were in the UFC?
At the time, it was, but they were trying to give me pennies for that too. And I'm like, yeah, right. I know what I'm doing here. I've been through it. I already been in to do it with the organization about that. So they called me and they were like, hey, why are you do this? We're going to give you $1 million. I was like, hey, you will give me more than that. I like 5 times that because of that. And I was like, I knew the game by then. And I was like, fuck that. I remember when I was telling you about how I was like, if I fight every 2 months, I could be rich for $500. You know what I'm saying? That basic math attitude kind of fucking times 10 times 100 over and over again. So I knew what it was with the whole money in the business and shit. I might not be educated, but I'm not stupid.
Well, I mean, obviously you made out just right because you got that you beat him the first time and then you got the rematch. I'm sure you probably made more money. And now I feel like, you know, I've been talking a lot on my YouTube channel, like now is the best time to be a fan of combat sports. And the reason why is because you have your fan favorite fighters like you got Anthony Pettis, you got, you know, Jorge Masvidal, the guy you're about to fight. You have, you know, Paige Van Zant, she's about to do power slap. You have all these athletes doing whatever they want, right? And then you fought Conor, you fought Leon Edwards, you almost knocked his ass out at the very end of the round, right? Now you went off and you fought Jake Paul in boxing. Talk me through how that came about and what was that like going from in mixed martial arts, you're dealing with the UFC, Dana White negotiating. How was it, you know, getting ready for boxing, signing their contract, working with those guys? What was that experience like compared to your UFC days?
Yeah, the timing was on from the Jake Paul thing. You know, he was getting in the game, and I was getting out. And then as soon as he started popping up too, I was already. I had been on a mission to get out of the UFC for a good amount of time, and make the same type of shit pop like how he's doing. I like you guys don't understand that we're a show inside the show. So, I mean, if you build your platform big enough, you know what I'm saying, off of the platform, I'm big enough to make a scene and fight anybody. So I need to get out of here and do that. And then he came on doing the same thing from a whole other angle. And I was like, this motherfucker's exposing what I'm trying to do. So when all I had to do was get out and I can make something pop. And then so fortunate enough there was a dance partner over there making the scene from a whole nother platform, right? Coming in. So I was like, I got to get out and make that happen. And yeah, he was just a good option. So as soon as I got out, he was standing right there talking shit. So we got that done. And that was just the beginning of, that was just like a warm up for what's really about to happen type of thing.
Gotcha. And so the negotiation was a lot easier than dealing with like, because you know how it is. When you fight for organization, it's like, hey, you're signing this contract, you're in a 5-fight deal, 6-fight deal, whatever it may be. But you went to boxing, I believe it was on the zone. How was it with that? Was it like, no, this is what I want. I'm the A side. I want, you know, my own sponsors. I want, you know, some of the commission of the ticket sales, you know, all that stuff. Like, did you, because we always talk about boxing.
Meet in the middle, because I was bringing my part, he's bringing his part. So it was kind of like me in the middle with everything. And then, it was easy to roll for that one.
Gotcha. Because we always hear about, like, for me, my side, as I've always been in mixed martial arts, we always hear about, oh, boxing, that's where all the money is. That's where all the money is. You know, you hear Floyd Mayweather, he goes, I get part of concession. I get part of the t-shirt, the merchandise. I get part of every fucking thing. So I didn't know if that was something you got to experience when you went over to do boxing with Jake Paul for the zone. So that's why I was asking that. Like, I've been asking a lot of people, what was your experience like? I've asked T, what was his experience like? I'm asking you, and I wanted to know if there was something that, you know, was true or was it all cap?
It was all down the middle for me on everything. And that's the thing about, I don't think it's in it's not in boxing, it's in each individual who knows what he's doing, what he's got going on, because for the UFC you're fighting under the UFC, so, and they have the platform to fucking put you on to make you a star anyway. So I understand all that and it's fair, but once you establish yourself, I think you got to go in there and make sure you get what's good and understand what percent should be what and who's bringing what to the table. And I understood that the whole time in the UFC. So when I got out, I knew what I was bringing to the table. And even if Jake Paul's got a bigger bigger social media following and stuff, I'm coming with my whole what do they call it? I'm coming with a whole another fucking
Brand,
yeah,
athletes,
so
eyeballs.
whatever your social media said, I'm bringing the whole community. I'm bringing this whole community, and then you're bringing your whole community. So we're going down the middle type of shit, and just I plan on keeping on for a long time.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I want to shift gears real quick. I've always wanted to know this. How much weed do you smoke in a week? Like you training, you're doing your triathlons and all that shit. You come into the show, you got your bud. If you want to roll one real quick, go ahead. You know, take your time. You want to roll one. But how much weed do you smoke in a week? And does it affect your cardio, your lungs?
It doesn't affect me at all. No, I think I need some weed to help me. I need some weed because I like to get high. And I don't keep track of how much weed I smoke. I just smoke when I feel like it, and most of it then.
Well, I was just curious about it. It's like I've been doing like a lot of research, and when I see people like, you know, I never forget when I was a kid, I ran a half marathon, and after I got done running a half marathon, the person who won first place pulled out a cigarette, started smoking a cigarette. And I'm like, this motherfucker, ain't he worried about his lungs or anything like that? And so when I see, you know, guys like Snoop Dogg, he's smoking out of the weed. You see you puffing it, you puffing the weed marijuana. You're an athlete. You never, I don't think in all the fights I seen you fight, you get tired. You might put your hands on your knees and try to look like, you know, that your opponent ain't doing nothing, but I've never seen you huffing and puffing like you're a chain smoker. And so I'm always fascinated on like, you know, weed does have healing properties because it relaxes your body, your mind, and all that stuff. But I never talked to somebody who is on the level that you're on who smokes marijuana. So that's why I wanted to pick your brain about that.
Yeah, I think weed's good for you, honestly. I think it help you. For one, I think it helps your lungs for fucking because they got to be in shape to be smoking weed all day. And for two, I think it keeps me aware and conscious of, like, let's say I'm out of shape, right? And then I go to 5-minute rounds grappling with you, right? If I go in there and go hard, like I'm in shape and I'm not in shape, I think I'm going to be, if I'm smoking weed especially, I'm going to be conscious of how hard I should be going and how I'm treating the level of intensity that I'm attacking with off the type of shape I'm in. So I think it keeps me aware of a lot of shit. Cause I've been in good shape for fights and not as good shape for fights and training. I've been in horrible shape for training and came in, smoked, and done 5-minute rounds MMA and fucking grappled a bunch of rounds, shadow box afterwards and did my thing. But I attacked him like I was in the shape I was in because I smoked some weed and kept conscious of it the whole time. You know, I'm like, I better keep it at this pace because I better keep it at this pace because I was last night kicking it hard. You know, so I think it's just a conscious thing. You know.
Gotcha. So you almost use that.
Keep paranoid of that, even, you know, like, okay, I better slow down because I'll be fucked. And then people like the gas tank.
Gotcha.
I'm like, I've been exhausted since we started.
What the fuck?
Yeah, dealt with it better than the other guy. You know, people get tired on me. I'm like, because they don't know how to deal with it. I think the experience kicks in too. So.
Gotcha. So have you ever fought high before? Like, how you're like, you know, you in the back, you're like, fuck this. All right, here we go.
You're in the locker room for hours before the fight, you know. You're in there. So
that's true.
Before I fought Anthony Pettis, I smoked a fat ass blunt before I walked in there, right outside the door, and we walked in, and then we were kind of late, so we had like an hour to get ready. So no, I wasn't high when I fought, but I was lingering high.
Gotcha. Good for you. But I was just fascinated about it. Like there's other guys like Sugar Sean O'Malley. He smokes weed, and I know he said like he doesn't smoke as much up to the fight. Like he'll do different things. And for me, I've never done any marijuana until later stage of my life where I'll sit there and I'll just go. Oh shit, I'm already high. That's all I need. Okay, we're good to go. Where before I've been exposed to edibles, and it's like you're gone from 4 to 5 to 6 hours, and it's like.
Edible. I've been standing in my hallway scared and shit on edibles. I eat mushrooms before I eat edible weed. That shit fucked me up. Bro, one time we ate some weed cookies when my brother fought in I don't know where he fought. We're in the East Coast or something. We ate my girl and my brother's girl brought all these weed cookies and we just ate a whole fuckload of them. I ate way too much of that shit. I was fucking scared shitless, and we got in the elevator. Dana White got in the elevator with us. And we got we got in the elevator. There were like a few people. Dana White, the door opened. Me and Nick, and then Nick just lost the fight. It was all fucked up and lost the decision. We were having a bad day, and then now we're tripping on some weed cookies. Dana White walks in with I'm probably 20 years old. Nick's probably 22 or something. And Dana White walks in and, hey, what's up, guys? And we're like, what up? And then we went down. We're fucking lit. We're like, oh shit, Dana White just got in here. Nick was probably third fighting this league. The elevator doors open. Dana White walks in, what's up, guys? And we're like, what up? Goes down to the next floor, opens. We all just stand there, and the door shuts, and everybody's like, nobody's floor. And everybody's like, no, we went down. And then went to the bottom, and then we're like, oh shit, that was our floor. We clicked it. They all started laughing. Man, they started laughing at me, fucking stoners. We're lit.
Oh, it's fucking hilarious. He goes, oh, we just missed our floor. Oh shit, we did. We had to go back up.
Everybody in the elevator knew it was our floor. They're like, you dumbasses. We're like, fuck. And then we would and got on an airplane, and we were fucking. I was freaked out on the plane. It was fine. Like, it's this plane turned around. I was like, I ain't never eating these motherfuckers again. And not hit them. I probably ate edibles like 20 more times than every time. I'm like, I'm never eating these again.
Oh, it's fucking hilarious. So a lot of people say that, like, when they do, like, people that I've talked to who smoke marijuana, and then when they do edibles, they're like, that is not the same experience. It's nowhere near the exact same thing. And I was like, okay, I got to understand what the difference is. And then when I tried smoking it one time, and then I've done edibles before, and I'm like, okay, yeah, it is totally different. It leaves your body. It's not lingering in your body. It doesn't have to be absorbed through your intestines, your liver, and all that stuff. It goes straight to your lungs if you smoke it. So I can understand that. Well, I mean, I'm glad you're able to, use marijuana as a marker in your training and be able to
in shape.
Yeah, it keeps your lungs in shape. Where I feel like, some people, it might affect them differently, but since you've probably been doing it your whole entire career, it's probably been accustomed, so you enjoy it too, right? So it helps you train.
I think a lot of it's mental too.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, now I want to, how often do you train with your brother? Like, do you and Nick train together often, or you guys do your own separate thing?
He's been out in, for this camp, he's been out in Texas doing some work out there with some of my friends he's got out there, and we've been in boxing camp, and he's been doing everything, the full package, grappling everything, and he kind of wasn't here for the beginning of camp, so I think he kind of just like, I'm just gonna stand you guys here, show up, and fucking he's coming to fight, I guess, and then afterward we're gonna get together and train. But yeah, we've always trained together every day. It's like, yeah, he knows me better than anybody. I know him better than anybody.
Love it. Okay. Now let's talk about this fight you got coming up. Big fight coming up. You versus Jorge Masvidal. It's a rematch because you guys fought in the UFC for the first baddest motherfucker of all time. And now it's a boxing match. Like, how did this come about? Like, obviously, we know you got your brand going on. You had your first boxing match with Jake Paul. And then last time you told me about this, you weren't going to spoil it. When we saw each other in Vegas for Super Bowl, you said, I got some shit in the work, man. I got something coming up. Obviously, it's this. How did this opportunity come up?
Well, he's contracted to the UFC. And he is not allowed to fight anywhere outside the UFC, and then they allowed him to come out and box. So some guys over at Famio, shout out to Solomon. He came and saw me, and he's like, "Hey, I want you and Masvidal to box." I was like, "He's contracted to the UFC. They're not gonna let him box. They would have never let me box. They never did. I was trying to do all kinds of different shit. They didn't let me do shit. They were like, you sit there and wait till we call you." So that's why I was like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. But they let him box, and I was like, why are we gonna box? I don't want to box where I'm at. The fuck would we box for, right? The fuck would we box for? We're fighters, right? We should be fighting. And that was the hold up. He talked about the hold up on my side and me being a whatever. I'm like, bro, I didn't even want to box you. I want to fight you. So, as far as options, when I'm outside the UFC, I'm not playing around like I'm a fighter. I don't want to like I'm not just like money grabbing. Like I could just put on a show and just fight somebody and get paid more than I ever got paid in the UFC. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not just trying to be fighting and just fucking grabbing money. I'm trying to fight the best fighters in the whole world. I still want to fight for a UFC world title. I want to fight one of the best boxers. I want to box one of the best boxers, the best option. And I was sitting there trying to hunt that down, and everybody's contracted to somebody, so there's nobody to fight until stars align, So I'm talking to my guy that I'm like, I want to fight the best fighter. I could fight the biggest fight I could fight. I don't want to just take Joe Blow fights, and if not, then I'm gonna have to go sign in one of these organizations unless these guys start getting their heads together, start getting out and becoming their own organization as soon as they're fucking stop wanting to work for people. And that's what should be happening with everybody. And I thought this when I was like 25 years old when I did. Besides fighting in the UFC and knowing what I was getting, I had a lot of partners outside the UFC back then getting paid, and I knew how much I was on TV and how much, remember Drake, all up on TV, I thought it made me richer. Like people knew it was everywhere. Wherever I went, it was crazy. I was getting paid $60,000 a fight or something. I was like, nah. You got Justin Bieber in the front row of my fights, and you got, everybody you could think of on the famous side, the front row. And I'm like, you got these rich motherfuckers watching me fight. I'm not. This ain't how it's supposed to be. So I was thinking like that then, and now I'm in a position where it's like, okay, look, put on the biggest shows. That's what I don't know. The question was just who am I fighting? Masvidal had this come out. All that is what happened. I was thinking about all that situation. I'm like, I'm trying to fight the biggest fighter. I'm not trying to go put on some fake show. Yeah. Masvidal was the biggest name opponent and the best. Well, he got a win over me. He's the best fighter that's able to fight right now. I can fight anybody, but nobody can fight me. You know what I'm saying? They're not allowed. So,
Well, I think you hit it right on the nail. I think a lot of people don't realize when you get signed to an organization, you can't just go do whatever you want and what you please. And that's something you said earlier in the show is that when you're in the UFC, you're like, well, I want to fight this guy. I want to fight this guy. I'm trying to stay on track, because if I did the math when I was a kid, if I fight, this many times, I make this much money, then I could just chill. But you're basically a contractor.
That note, right?
Yeah. Right? Like you're a contractor, so they tell you when you can fight. Where for you didn't want that. And now that you're not with the UFC anymore, you did the boxing match with Jake. Now you're still a free agent. You're just waiting for the right opportunity to fight the next best guy. Granted, Jorge, he does have a win over you, but he's still contract with UFC. So you guys can't do a mixed martial arts fight. If you wanted to do that, you would have to get back with the UFC, and we all know that's gonna be a 4-fight, 5-fight deal, correct? So for you, this is the best next thing you can do was the boxing match against Jorge Masvidal with Famio, correct?
Mayo,
Is that
yeah.
who's going to be hosting it? So I understand that aspect of it, right? Because if you do want to fight for a UFC world title, we all know you have to get back in UFC, sign another 2 to 3 fight deal. And is that something you're willing to do if you get past Jorge Masvidal, or you're like, nah, fuck that. I'm only signing 1 fight deal and I want straight gold?
I always say that every fight changes everything. Like, just like when McGregor knocked out Aldo on his ass, you're like, all right, well, that motherfucker needs a little ass whip. Then, yeah, but like before that, it wasn't even it was just like this loudmouth little motherfucker, little new guy they're giving all kind of attention to, right? And I'm like, what the fuck? Because I had already been here for 10, 15, 12 years or some shit. And I'm like, and I'm already been trying to get mine. And I know that all my shit had high numbers, like all shit I fought on. And I was like, co-main event, building stars left and right. So I was like, they're trying to build this fool. They're using me to build people. I'm like, bro, that's fucking crazy. I'm going to beat his little ass, but I would beat his little ass big, 145 pounds. I'm not going to go like a bully and talk shit to a smaller weight class guy. You know what I'm saying? That's not how I can't sleep with that. You know what I'm saying? But then he went on the press conference tour and he started mouthing, I'm the king of all this shit. He's like, fuck you, Cowboy. He started punking Cowboy. Cowboy just got punked. That's what made that motherfucker is that fool came in and had Aldo to get punked all over a world tour. And then I'm like, I was mad at Aldo. I'm like, you're letting them build this bitch. I'm like, punked all over the place. He's blowing up, and your fucking ass is making it. You're blowing him up. So like, little shit. I wasn't that mad about it until later. I was just like, that little fucker.
I can see you right now. You're sitting out with this, watching the press conference. You're like, this motherfucker, he's taking everything I work for. I've been this bitch for
putting it in his pocket, and I'm been talking shit to these fools, getting fined more than anybody. And I'm like, fuck everyone in this bitch. And then fucking he goes to the fucking press conference, starts mouthing off to all the I wasn't even fighting. I was like on a year break. I was like sitting there like, man, I wish there was someone to beat up to make a scene on the best guy, or somebody who's loud, or somebody who actually thinks he's tight. Because I'm sick of fighting wrestlers who nobody knows and making a little star out of them for them to hold on and win a decision and be scared for their lives the whole fight. So I was like, no, fuck that. I'm fighting. When he talked shit to Cowboy and was like, all the weight classes, well, I'm like, oh, now you're out of pocket. Okay. I was like, whoever I was with, I was like, yo, who's the top 5 guy, top 10 guy right now that I could go whip their ass and get a fight with this little bitch? And then fucking, we looked it up, and I think fucking, I can't remember the order, but I watched all the fights, and Michael Johnson knocked out fucking Poirier on his ass and fucking beat a bunch of people and was on a roll and was like top 5 or top 7 or something like that. And I was like, all right, let's get a fight with that motherfucker. And then that was like a triple kill right there. Because then when I got the fight on that, the main event was Cowboy Cerrone and Rafael dos Anjos. And I think I had just lost to dos Anjos, and I wanted to whip his ass. And I had beat Cowboy's ass, and I was fucking sick of his shit always. And then fucking I got the fight with Johnson at the co-main event. I don't know about the co-main event. I might have just been main card. I think I was co-main event. I was on the poster. And then that motherfucker was like talking shit before the fight, and I got into him, and I beat his ass. I was like, what, bitch? And then I called out Connor because he just ran this fucking train on the whole everybody. Punked everybody at the press conference. Do you remember that?
I'm the money fight in the male shit at all weight divisions, so fuck everybody else up here.
Yeah.
It's red panty night when you sign to fight me, yeah? Back at home with your wife.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Pussy bitches. He started plugging everybody. Nobody said, shut up, bitch. In your hands, tell that fool that bitch and sit the fuck down. And nobody did. I was like, I'm whipping his ass. That's who I'm fighting. And then what happened?
You're not fighting him. So basically, you kind of orchestrated. You sat there, you're like, I'm gonna get this motherfucker right here. I'm gonna work my way through everything. I'm gonna fight Michael Johnson, beat him, and then I'm gonna call him out. So you basically sat down, you had a plan, and you executed it, and you end up winning that fight. So it was all pretty much orchestrated through your mind.
Nice.
He said, "Yeah, nice." Do you have your own strain of weed?
No, I don't.
Why not?
That's just a lot of shit. I'm like, I don't want to sit there and grow the weed and smell it.
I'm sure you got people who could do that for you. You'd be like, hey, this is why I like the indica, and I like a little sativa in there too. Put some of that blueberry crush in there as well.
I also
Let me
don't like one
experiment.
kind of weed. I'm sure I will with time, but just hasn't happened yet. No, it's been on for a long time. Everybody fucking wants to do something. I'm like, damn, I don't know what to do.
Well, I'm pretty sure you're a good ambassador for cannabis and marijuana. You're like, look at me, I'm beating motherfuckers at a high level. I'm smoking all the time, running these triathlons. He goes, smoke my weed, smoke 209 DS weed if you want to live long and compete like a champion.
There it is.
There's your slogan right there, man. I could be your slogan, man, if you want. Okay, so we got the Jorge Masvidal fight going on. Now, you've been doing this, how long you been in the game for? Like 15 years, 18 years?
I think it was 17-year reunion the other day from when I won Ultimate Fighter. I've been fighting since I was 2004, and I was in the UFC in 2007 before all these motherfuckers. I've been in the UFC before all those motherfuckers.
Damn, you know they should have done? They should have done a yearbook. Every year, a yearbook for like everybody to take a little picture.
2004 or 3. You.
I started fighting in 2007. I graduated high school in 2005. I was watching you. When I was growing up, I was watching you. Like, you were one of the guys I watched, you and your brother. I remember watching your brother knock out Takani Gormy with Gogo Plata, I believe it was. Gogo Plata. I remember seeing you knock motherfuckers out and submit him, and, you know, just you guys had a style of like you guys came to fight, right? You guys will come forward and you guys would absorb a lot of shots, but you also give a lot of shots, right? And then nobody would dare wrestle with you guys, right? They take you down, boom, you get your guillotine, you get your triangle, you have a very active guard. So you guys had a style where it's like you would cross the distance and get into void, put the pressure on your opponents, and you still do this to this day. And then when they would shoot, it was only a matter of time till you submit them. So I grew up watching you, so you've been in the game a lot longer than I have.
Yeah, but you've been doing your shit too. And that you had some tough fights. Who was it you shocked up in the armbar with that Ray Borg or
Ray Borg, yeah, who I threw up in the air. Ray Borg, yeah.
I haven't been getting out with people forever. That's crazy.
Nah. So you've been in the game for a long time.
Sponsorship too. That was sick.
Yeah, them motherfuckers didn't pay me all the time, but it was still cool to rock it though.
Yeah, fuckers.
Yeah.
Fuck.
So what did you do?
Fuck you, expert.
What did you do for?
Let's fight that. Take this man.
Oh fuck. So you've been in the game for a long time. What did you do for your recovery? Right? Like, obviously, you know, I don't think you've ever pulled out of a
Yeah,
fight.
I've been fucked up. That's what I'm feeling Connor right now too, though. I've been on his ass. I've been fucked up for hella fights. And I don't be pulling out of fights, especially if I make a big ass deal. I was fucked up when I fought Masvidal. I tore my meniscus 2 weeks before I fought him. I couldn't even hardly walk in that fight. I didn't even know I tore my meniscus. I found that out after, but I was training and I was like, dude, I could hardly even walk. And I was like, hell no, we're going here. It was Madison Square Garden, headlining, and fucking Donald Trump came through. I think that was the first president ever been at the UFC, and I'm like, yeah, right, I'm going to that fight. And I went in there and fought that. When I fought fucking Dos Anjos, I had a fucked up rib.
Well, I think a lot of the athletes, they do fight fucked up. Like, I never forget when I fought in WC, Antonio Benuelos, he had a broken hand, and he was like, shh, my hand's broke right now. And he goes, I'm trying to get on that motherfucking fight night insurance. As for all the viewers out there, to give you guys a kind of, you know, inside scoop, is us athletes, when we get ready for our fights, we're going through a training camp. We suffer injuries through that training camp. But as an athlete at the beginning of the time, we didn't have health insurance unless you had, you know, self-employed health insurance. And so, but when you would fight, On fight night, anything that would occur on fight night would be covered under the UFC or Zuffa or WC's insurance. So a lot of athletes would go into fights with broken wrist, broken hand, broken rib, and then after they would fight, the doctor would be like, hey, what's wrong? Do you feel okay? And everybody would be like, my back hurts, my wrist hurts, my ankles hurt, everything hurts. And then all that stuff would be covered under their insurance. And so that's why, I want to give that little context of it. So, but from my memory, you never pulled out of a fight. You've always been, not healthy, but you've always shown up to a fight. And what do you do in your recovery leading up to fights, right? Or is it just, you sit back, you have a nice drink, some marijuana, and you just fucking run?
Yeah, no, I train. I just keep training. I train all the time. When I get done with fights, I train, and then I'll hit the... If I stop training, I get more fucked up than if I do train anyway. So I just keep training. And you got to do recovery workouts and ice bath and sauna. Hot tub is great too, but that shit would be my main shit. Ice bath, sauna, recovery.
That's what I love doing. I love doing the ice barrel in the sauna. I didn't start doing the ice barrel until I bought Rod Tank. Once I started doing way more Muay Thai sparring rounds and just kicking and the shins and all that stuff, I was like, I need something to take the edge off. So I'll jump in the ice barrel, sitting there for 5 to 6 minutes, 45 to 48 degrees, and then I'll get out of there. I'm like, okay, I'm ready for tomorrow's sparring. Let's get it again.
Or if you're not ready, you just hop in that bitch.
Exactly.
I got an ice machine in my house and a bucket, one of them fucking big old barrels. And I was like, bro, fuck. It was so convenient because I'd be in camp. I'd be like, fuck. It was just like, I do not want to go train right now. This is horrible. And and it's like, I got to be there in 20 minutes. I'm like, I'm hopping in that bitch right now. I'll do 10 minutes, hop out, fucking jump in the hot tub for a second, go shower up and go to the gym. I'm like, okay, I'm away. I like shock myself back to life.
Yeah.
Starter, finisher.
Yeah, a lot of people say they love it, right? I've never done it before I train. Like, there's one guy at my jiu-jitsu gym who's done it before he trains. He goes, dude, it feels 1,000 times better. It's like, I got to warm my body up, and then my endorphins and my mind is just a lot sharper instead of when he does it afterwards.
Getting in rhythm before you're even there sometimes. I like.
I'm about to try that one day. Okay, on a couple more questions, I'm gonna let you go back to your day. Now, what would you say is the difference between the training camp between mixed martial arts and a boxing match? Right, like you've always done MMA fights. Now,
sorry, but yeah,
no, I
just it's a lot. It's hard to say. It's hard to say because boxing is a rough fucking sport, but it's more low impact. Fucking less wear and tear. I don't have to fucking kick the fucking kickbox and fucking banging my shit up and grapple and tingle myself up and wrestle all day. I'll be all fucked up, walking on silly and shit, training for MMA fight. But at the same time, boxing gets a little stagnant. I'm like, yesterday I was like, I kind of took a recovery day. I worked out, rode my bike for a minute, and then I fucking went back to the gym later and did workouts and shit. And I was like, fuck, I should just go grapple. I should just go to jiu-jitsu class right now. And I was going to go, but I didn't go. But I was like, shit, I went to jiu-jitsu. It gets boring. It gets more boring trying to just. I'm like, I'm sick of this. I'm want to grapple with these motherfuckers right now. Fuck. So.
Well, I mean, that's your natural. I mean, I feel like that was always your greatest strength is your Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
And I still have been, but it just narrowed down a lot in the last couple of weeks. I've been like,
yeah, well, because you get ready for a boxing match.
After I fought Jake Paul, I thought to myself, I was like, I knew it. I just did camp at fucking. I had fought Jake Paul, and the whole time right there, I just boxed. And then as soon as I was done, I knew it. I was like, I should have been grappling. I should have been fucking doing some kicking just to fucking so I was moving right because I move different when I fight in MMA. And I was like, I should have been doing all my shit. And then I realized from that fight that jiu-jitsu, people do like, and one thing I never did. Really, I always run and I always work out and I always go work out with people. Like I'll go do CrossFit with somebody and I'll go do this. I do I'll do a little bit of everything whenever people are doing. I got my boys, I'll go run the tracks, we mountain bike, and I'll be like, it's just fucking, I like to do everything.
Yeah. Well, I think like for me, when I would get ready for my jiu-jitsu competitions,
What I was saying
or
was
when
that like out of all those things, sorry to interrupt you, but I was like the jiu-jitsu and the kicking and all the other stuff, that's all strength and conditioning. I don't need strength and conditioning.
Yeah.
Shit, hold the ball. People are always doing that for their warm-ups, and that's cool if that's what makes you feel better. But I'm like, bro, I ain't got time for that shit. Because you got to do so much shit. Jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, wrestling. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, you got guys holding the ball and shit. I'm like, you boxing, it sucks. You should be spitting this ball throwing and fucking strength and conditioning shit out. And you should go fucking learn how to box. You got taking up time, I think. I didn't do jiu-jitsu for the last fight. I didn't do none of that. I did just boxing. And then I was like, fuck that. I'm doing everything for my next fight. Do a little jiu-jitsu. I mean, obviously less, but like do a jiu-jitsu once, twice a week. Do some fucking kicking once, twice a week. It makes
I think it's good for you.
Stronger and harder and shit.
Yeah, and it's also keeping your mind fresh, right? I mean, you spent so many years training mixed martial arts, punching, kicking, wrestling, doing Muay Thai, jiu-jitsu, and now you're just doing straight boxing, which that shit is going to get boring after all. You're pop, 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 pop. And it's like, what
again? That's just fucking me out.
Yep. Over and over and over, where you're like, man, I miss grappling, I miss kicking, I miss clinching, I miss just fucking around and being able to experiment, right? Where in boxing, you can't really experiment.
Well, you know, it's tight when you fight. That gi match, you just fight up that big ass dude. Yeah.
Oh, jiu-jitsu?
It's tight. It's tight because you just had to deal with Bradley Martin. That shit was hilarious.
Yes, sir. I'm just trying to go out there and have fun, right? Like jiu-jitsu is something I.
It was tight because then you fucked up that big ass jiu-jitsu dude like fucking a couple weeks later or some shit. That's fucking hilarious.
I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you watching. Now we got another fight. I want you to get your insight on this. How do you think who do you think is gonna win? Mike Perry versus Jake Paul. That's a fight. You fought Jake Paul. You haven't fought Mike Perry. But how do you think that's gonna go? Because they're fighting after you guys. So it'll be you and Jorge Masvidal, and then after you guys.
It looks fucking tight, entertaining, and fucking sick. I like fucking. The fuck's his name?
King of Violence,
Perry.
Mike Perry.
That motherfucker is hilarious. That shit is
Dude, Mike Perry is good. He comes forward, he gets in your face, throws lots of fuck combination, and he lets it be known. He goes, "I'm being in your face all fucking day from the ring when the bell rings until the bell ends. I'm being all in your shit."
Fucking funny. I just watched his podcast with you. That shit is hilarious.
We just did another one with him, so I hope you watch that one. It's a good one. That's an old one, but we just did another one with him. That's gonna be coming out after your fight. It'll be coming out.
That should be a cool fight. Mike Perry and fucking that needed to happen. You know what I'm saying? That's cool.
Well, I think you kind of led the way, right? I mean, you and Mike Perry are kind of like, you know, the trailblazers for this shit, right? And even Tyron Woodley, you got to give him some props too, because it's like you guys got out of the UFC.
Saw Tyron Woodley get his ass whooped on Cobra Kai.
Well, I think that was choreographed though. That's choreographed. That's staged. Okay, it's a little different.
Lost.
He was like, you're like, he's like, it was fake, Nate. You're like, you still got your ass beat, T. It doesn't matter. But you guys were the trailblazers.
I'd be like, I gotta win these fights in this show.
Well, I mean, you think about it, you guys left the UFC, and every single one of you guys were successful outside of the UFC, right? You got to fight. Big fight coming up. Jorge Masvidal versus you. T-Wood, I don't know what he's doing right now. He's trying to figure out where his next fight's going to be. Then you look at Mike Perry and Jake Paul. He's in the UFC, so it doesn't count. You guys have set the stage for other athletes to have opportunities to go do other things and make money outside of an organization under other things that they can do. So I applaud you guys for being the trailblazers for that.
Thank you. I am.
You're welcome.
I applaud that.
Mike. Yeah. Michael, what you got for my boy Nate? He's got to go. He's got shit to do.
Hey, what's up, Nate? Nice to meet you.
What's up?
Yeah, so I wanted to ask about your brother. He has a fight coming up to August 3rd against Vicente Luque. What do you think of that matchup?
I think that's not a type of fight I like to watch. If I'm watching fighting, get styles from both angles and that's the fight.
How do you think your brother Nick is looking in camp so far?
Nick's to me. We're linking up in a couple weeks when the training and shit. So Nick's the dope, man.
I love how you got it's almost like sometimes I remember Nick's last fight he fought Robbie Lawler, and it was almost like he was like, I'm done. I don't want to fight right now, and he takes time away from the sport to recharge. And then all of a sudden, you're on Twitter, and it's like, Nick Diaz is back to fight. I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, I didn't think he was still fighting. I thought he was just chilling. I was actually shocked that he was coming back to fight. It's almost like same thing with you. I talked to you in Vegas, and I'm okay. Nate's probably going to do something real soon. But it's like, boom, you guys drop big news. You're back to fighting. Do you guys like to take time off and just chill and decompress and remove yourself from the sport? Or are you guys always just waiting for the next big opportunity, searching for the next opportunity?
Yeah, I have a different idea every day. I train all day when I'm even out of camp. You know what I'm saying? That's why I go on trips and shit to get the fuck away from the gym. And when we're done training every day, I'm thinking up something different. So I just kind of freestyle. I think he's the same way. But I ain't gonna let no motherfucker come out and be fucking the main ass whooper and then not have nothing to say about it because I'm involved for fucking life.
Yeah, and one last question I wanted to ask. I saw you recently in an interview come out and defend Conor McGregor for him pulling out with his toe injury. Why do you kind of relate to him and understand why Conor had to pull out with that injury?
That's why I was going to get into. We're talking about the injury that's experience. He was fucked up when he fought his last fight. And I've been fucked up in hell fights. And I don't want to cry about it afterwards because I shouldn't have came to the fight if you were fucked up. You know what I'm saying? That's how I think about it. So I'm like, well, you shouldn't have fucking showed up then. Shouldn't have showed up and got your ass. You still got your ass whipped. So I'm like, from the inexperience angle, all the people are fucking talking shit, but the experience, don't give a fuck. And I feel the same way. The show got pushed back. It didn't get canceled. He bossed up on that shit. They shut up. We'll fight in a few months, and they were going to criticize for pulling out. He didn't pull out. He pushed back. He pushed it back, right?
Yeah, they pushed it back. They just basically rescheduled it. There hasn't been a date that's been rescheduled for it yet, but they're saying it's going to happen if Chandler wants to wait.
See? It's now ball's in his court, but Conor's fucking the show. So he's and that's how I feel when I fought Leon Edwards. 2 weeks, I was training so good for that fight, and 2 weeks before it, I got cut. I got cut on my chin, and I fucking had to, I had to cancel my fucking. I had to cancel. I was stressed out. I'm like, fuck, I ain't trying to cancel this fight. It's in 2 weeks though, and I'm fucking split. I that fucking sucks, and I stressed out for about 10, 20 minutes. I bro, I ain't pulling out of the fight. When I'll just get stitched up. I'll go fight this motherfucker, right, or whatever. And it was kind of fucking hectic for a minute. And I was fuck that. Call the UFC and tell them to push it to. I looked at the card right there. I tell them to push it to Arizona. A month later, I tell them to push it to that. I can't go this. I'm gonna lose. Fucking right off the bat, this shit will split open, right? So they call these motherfuckers, and they're like. They hit my guys back and were like, so what's up? Does he just doesn't want to fight or what? And they're like, nah, he just got cut. He just got cut. He wants to push it to the next show. And they push it to the next show. I was like, thank God. Because I didn't want to be pulling out of no fight. You know what I'm saying? But the whole shit, though, was like all good. Like, they were not tripping because they wanted the fucking boss to fight. You know what I'm saying? They're like, what is push it here or he ain't going to cancel? That was just a little pushback. Wasn't it? Like, I was pulling out. That fucking was like, that experience was like, damn, I could have pushed a bunch of fights back. You know what I'm saying?
You're like, oh man, my ribs are pushing back another 6 weeks.
So now before you just jump to conclusions and start being like, he's hurt, fucking pussy. It's like, bro, he lost his last fight because he went in there like a G and he was hurt. And he fucked himself up. You know what I'm saying? That being a part of it, he shouldn't have showed up though. He showed up though. but now he knows. You know what I'm saying? And now I know.
That's
you know
what
I'm saying? So it's like when people are like, well, I'm like, why don't you shut up and sit down? Got a real injury. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, it's the hardest thing because obviously, you know, I remember I watched somebody said like old Connor would beat new Connor. And it's like, well, when you've had the experience, like you just said, he's won in a fight. You've gone into a fight injured before and you're just fighting, you're fighting injured, right? You can't perform to your best ability. And so when Connor fought Dustin last time and he had that injury and he stepped back and broke his leg, he has PTSD from that. So he has a broken toe where he's like, I've already been through this before. Why would I? He is in a position where he doesn't have to go through that, right? Like if it was probably broke Connor was like, I'm not going back to fucking, you know, food stamps and I'm not going back to, you know, the unemployment line. I'm going to go out there and fight. But now that he doesn't do that, he gets to pick on his term just like you do. You get to pick on your term when you want to fight. If you're going to go into a fight injured, you're like, I'm not fighting injured. I've worked way too hard to build my brand to work my ass off. Why would I go in there and fight injured?
For sure.
No, I understand.
Are we getting that trilogy, Nate?
Yeah.
You versus Connor. If you had to guess, you think you're going to get that one day?
Connor, I fucking ripped the cartilage in my rib. I was like, I can't even fight this motherfucker. Fuck that. I'm not going. You know what I'm saying? I fuck that shit. Mm-hmm. I was fucked up in that fight. Yeah, we're fighting a third time. Second one wasn't fair. Hell yeah. And I still think I won, dude.
No, we all want to see it. I'm just speaking from a fan's perspective.
That's 100%. I'm fighting all these motherfuckers again. They don't fall off and retire. Everybody leaves. Everybody's gonzo. I watch everybody's career go by. They'll be coming in fucking years after me, and then they're like, I'm tired, and then they act like an OG or something. I'm like, you brand new. Fucking act like a whole retired OG. Well, fuck. Who was it? Some people like talking about me, and they're like, oh, I'm like, bro, you've been in your seat hell of a year. That's me. You talking like you're some type of fucking coach or some shit, what I should be doing. I hate when fighters that analyze do stupid shit. Bitch.
Hey, don't be hating on me, dog. I be analyzing all types of motherfuckers.
I like Chael Sonnen. Chael Sonnen's hilarious.
He's
some
got a great.
And some fucking suck. Like, shut the fuck up.
Hey, I tell you right now, I'm not the best fighter in the world. I make mistakes. I have deficiencies, and I have some very strong weaknesses, but strong strengths. But when I try to break down the fights, I try to break it down in my mindset, how I would approach it, and what I think is going on in the fight. So please don't be coming at me and slapping me when we see each other, because I don't want to have to fight you in Vegas.
I want no problem with my mess.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. Now, Nate, this is your opportunity to let people know where they can find you. I appreciate you coming on the MIGHTYcast. Where can they find you and how can they support you, brother?
I'm at Nate Diaz 209. Is that what you mean? Yeah, come through.
And make sure you check out his fight against Jorge Masvidal, July 20th, and that's on Famio pay-per-view.
It's not July 20th. It's when this comes out.
July 6th.
July 6th.
My bad.
This Saturday. Once this podcast drops.
Hey, Nate. Don't want to hear that shit. I'm doing the best I can. I got to remember all types of shit, okay? Make sure you guys check out. Make sure you check out Nate Diaz fight. He's taking on Jorge Masvidal, July 6th on Famio pay-per-view. I am your host, Demetrious Johnson. That's my co-host, Michael Monzor, and that's our amazing guest, Nate Diaz. And we will see you guys at the next one.
Thanks for having me, brother.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of the Mighty Recap. And we just got done having the Gangsta 209 California special, Nate Diaz, on the podcast. And I mean, I've always been a big fan of Nate Diaz. You know, I watched him fight Jake Paul. I've seen him fight so many different guys, Leon Edwards, Conor McGregor, 1 and 2. I believe I was at the second Conor McGregor fight. I was at one of those fights. And he is right. The atmosphere that he's been able to create and the brand he's been able to build, is absolutely amazing. Like, I always laugh because even when he does lose a fight, he goes, I didn't lose that fucking fight. I won that fight. And he's so convincing that everybody else in the fucking crowd believes he wants the fight. He won the fight too. And him talking about when he started in mixed martial arts, he was 1-1, and that's how it was. Back in the day, you would have a long amateur career. But once you suffer that first loss on your pro record, it's like a death sentence. Like, no organization wants you, right? Organizations always want the best fighters. They want a guy who's 7-0. Even though that 7-0 might be a padded record, you even look at boxers. They always want to have that O intact. And now I have 25 fights, and you look at all the guys they fought, you're like, who the fuck are all these guys? So for him to have that mindset starting his MMA career going 1-1, and then thinking like, okay, you know what? If I just fight, you know, every 2 months, every 3 months, and keep on stacking up $500, $800, whatever it may be. Granted, you take into inflation back in 2003 and 2004. That's a lot of money, especially working 40 hours a week. You do the math. You might, you know, when I was working 40 hours a week, 1076 an hour. I think I was clearing maybe 20K a year, maybe 18 to 20K a year. So you do the math. Him fighting that regularly, getting those extra checks, kind of helped him, you know, get through his life. And I think his mind and how he orchestrated on how he wanted to fight Conor McGregor, and he saw how Conor was doing all that shit to Aldo and bullying everybody at the press conference. His ass was at home smoking weed like, this motherfucker talking shit to all you guys. I'm going to fight him. And he kind of orchestrated like, okay, if I fight Michael Johnson, I beat him because he just knocked out Dustin Poirier. A lot of people forget. A lot of people get locked the fuck out in this sport. But I remember Michael Johnson knocking out Dustin Poirier. Then Michael Johnson fought Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz beat him. And that's when Nate Diaz got on the mic, called out Conor McGregor. Little behold, he fights Conor McGregor. And then that's where I think his star just took off.
And I think it's what people need to realize about mixed martial arts and combat sports as in general. Of course, you're going to have, and DJ, funny enough, I'm talking to you as you were during your fight career, the greatest example of here's a guy who you didn't really talk shit. You didn't really have like a character or gimmick, but you just won your fights. You have all the gold to show behind you. But Nate is in that different category where he's just such a cool guy. And you just watch him because, like, look at that interview. That is who he is. There's no gimmick. He's just this really chill dude. And you said it, how he's like, oh, I've never lost a fight. But a lot of his fights, if it was a 10-round fight, who's gonna win? Like, you're probably gonna pick Nate Diaz.
I'm gonna pick Nate Diaz and his brother Nick because typically they don't get knocked out, and they also don't get finished. You know, every once in a while they might get finished. I mean, his last fight with Jorge Masvidal, he didn't get finished. Like, he was losing the fight, but the doctor had to stop it because all the scar tissue he has over his eyebrows and underneath his cheeks, underneath his eyes. And that's one of the things that on a breakdown that I did was thinking about, like, hey, you know, when he fights Jorge Masvidal in boxing, you know, that could be something that comes up because a lot of guys who fight in boxing who have that scar tissue on their face, that could potentially open back up. But I agree with you. Like, he has that mindset where he was like, I don't fucking lose, right? Like, he goes, even though I might got my ass beat, I still fucking won.
Yeah, and that's the most thing that I'm always impressed with by the Diaz brothers is they are just so loved, and a loss on their record does not really, it just does not affect the fan interest level. We're still, and I do see a lot of people giving this Masvidal Nate Diaz fight a hard time, but it was cool hearing from Nate that he's like, dude, I want to do MMA. When he was first approached, but Jorge cannot do it because of his UFC contract. So that context made this fight make a lot more sense for me. So it makes me more interested in it. And I think for me, I just love supporting these guys when in UFC, some of them unfortunately did not. Even you, DJ, you probably didn't get paid what you were worth during that stretch, right? So I'm happy that you're able to find in one championship what you're looking for. And same thing with Nate Diaz and Jorge Masvidal. And in that respect, if you could look at it that way, helping support these guys, they're going to probably getting a 50-50 split. I think that aspect of it is really cool. So that fight makes a lot more sense to me now.
Oh yeah, 1,000%. Obviously, Jorge is still under contract with the UFC, like Nate Diaz says, so he can't fight mixed martial arts unless it's under the UFC banner. And we all know Nate Diaz doesn't want to sign back up with the UFC because he doesn't want to be locked into a contract for so long. And I agree with you. We always want to see the athlete make as much money as possible, right? And there's been a lot of athletes who've been able to leave the sport and mixed martial arts or under the UFC banner and make a lot of money. You look at Kyojo Horiguchi, Sergio Pettis, Anthony Pettis, Nate Diaz, Tyron Woodley. There's a lot of guys. Even Darren Till is about to do a boxing match. You got Uriah Hall, who's about to box. I think it's Julio Chavez, right? So those guys who are going to be able to get out of underneath the UFC banner, able to make a lot of money in boxing. Maybe not as much they want to make in the UFC, or it might be more than UFC if they can build their brand up to maybe like a Nate Diaz brand, but at least they're having an opportunity to go do what they want whenever they want. And that's what's the cool thing. But that does make a lot more sense why it is a boxing match. And I never heard of Famio before. Have you?
No, I would have thought this would be DAZN pay-per-view or something like that. But either way, anyone listening to this, support Nate. If you're a fan of his, buy the pay-per-view and try to watch that. So that's what interests me about it is, and you even brought up the Jake Paul fight, which I was kind of surprised to hear that it was 50-50, but it made sense when one of our producers, Nick Pappas, who was in on the interview listening, he messaged me that I forgot that Nate versus Jake was his Real Fight Inc. You know how Nate Diaz has that? It was co-promotion with the MVP promotions with Jake Paul. So that's why it was co-promoted 50-50 split. But shit, Nate knows what he's doing from a business perspective if he's, if he's getting that 50-50 split with Jake, because we'd have to talk to Tyron and stuff. But didn't Tyron tell us that he didn't get it wasn't 50-50 with Jake, right?
I'm not sure, but he said it was the most money he's ever made before.
Okay, so maybe I am wrong, but that's the aspect I find cool is, okay, maybe Nate Diaz versus Jorge Masvidal in boxing isn't for everyone, but it is cool if you look at the rev split and the analytics of, if you're going to pay your however much this pay-per-view is, let's say it's $50, way more of that is going to go in the pockets of Nate and
fighters.
Jorge than UFC. Like if you pay your $70 for a UFC pay-per-view compared to this, way more of it will, go in Nate's pocket. So I find that cool.
Well, that's for sure, because when you think about the UFC pay structure, I remember there was an athlete who just came out and said that he didn't make any money on the UFC pay-per-view deal because he said we didn't reach that mark. I can't remember who it was.
No. Mike Perry just said in our interview with
Mike
him,
Perry, yeah.
He said that with bare knuckle, with the Luke Rockhold fight, it didn't hit the minimum for him to get pay-per-view points.
Exactly, that's what it is, and that's across all the board, right? Like that's how it is. Obviously, we don't know about boxing, right? But we know in mixed martial arts, I know from experience because I've had pay-per-view points on my contract, and I've talked to Aljamain Sterling, who's had it on his contract before. And if you don't reach 200,000 pay-per-view buys, then you're not getting anything. And even when you reach past 200,000 pay-per-view buys, you're getting $1 of that fucking $70 that's going to the to the UFC, right? And so, like you said, if it's split down the middle 50-50, maybe, Famio was like, okay, the pay-per-view is going to be, $60. We keep 10, and then you and Jorge split 50-50, right? So $60, 10 goes to Famio. So $25 goes to Nate, $25 goes to Jorge Masvidal. That's a better split than you're going to get in any bare knuckle fighting, or probably even in the I know goddamn well it's more than the UFC.
Yeah, not to switch subjects so abruptly, but my kind of biggest takeaway with Nate is, like, I think we got to appreciate guys like Nate before they're gone, because you're always going to have your champions, right? Your dominant fighters, but then you're going to have your guys like Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, Max Holloway obviously was a great champion, so maybe he doesn't fit in that, but just those guys, you could look at them and be critical of them and pull up Nate Diaz's record, and I'm sure he has a record of like 20-12 or something in MMA, but I think you just have to ignore that and be like, dude, I just love seeing this guy fight. I love the build up to his fights. I love his post-fight promos. So I'm able to look past, like, some fights give me Islam Makhachev versus Alexander Volkanovski, the pure technique and greatness of it, but then also give me, what Nate Diaz has to offer, which is I'm going to put on a show every single time.
Yeah. Like when that build up to the Conor McGregor fight, the first one, Jesus Christ, that shit was probably the best press conference material ever. Like when he said, you're out there doing fucking games, I said doing ninja shit and playing with balloons with your little jungle butt buddy. Oh man, he had me fucking rolling. And then Conor has some good clapbacks too. So just that whole vibe of him going through the sport of mixed martial arts and now traveling into boxing and bringing that same bad boy 219 Stockton Nate Diaz. I'm a fan of it. I love it. Each time I ever see Nate Diaz, I saw him at Disneyland one time. Me and my family, nothing but love. Saw him and his girl and his boys at Super Bowl in February, nothing but love. And we're chopping up a little bit. And yeah, like you said at the beginning of the Mighty recap, what we just saw with Nate Diaz, that's how he is in real life. That is not in front. That's not a show. That's how he is. He's super chill, calm, collective, and he loves to fight. He loves the sport of mixed martial arts, and I truly believe he's passionate about the sport itself, and he's passionate about athletes building their brand and be able to do what they want to do and work for themselves. And that's why I have to commend him on like being one of those guys who left the UFC and started doing his own thing, making money.
Yeah, before we go, we touched on Conor McGregor versus Nate Diaz 3. How badly do you want to see that fight in UFC, and what are your early thoughts?
Oh, man.
And if we see that matchup, let's say within the next 2 years, what that might look like?
I don't know if we're going to see it in the next 2 to 3 years, man. I mean, Conor's getting older. I mean, he's 35, so in 2 years he'd be 37. I know Nate's getting older too, so...
I just find that Nate is your age, so that
like I'm 37. Yeah. I'll be 38.
Sorry. Then he is a little older than you. I got that.
Yeah, he's older than me, right? So
yeah, he is.
I mean, imagine in 2 years he'll be 40, 41. And Conor, I think Conor's like 34, 35, a little bit younger than me. So I don't know, man. I think if it's gonna happen, it's gotta happen soon. Like it can't be prolonged. And Conor, he's like Conor and Nate are like they're like unicorns. We love to watch them fight, but it's so rare we get to see them fight. I feel like that's how it is with all the athletes, right? You got a guy like Alex Pereira who's fighting so often and he's amazing to watch fight. But, back in the day, if you want to watch Dominic Cruz fight, it was so rare. If you wanted to see Jose Aldo fight, it was so rare. And I feel like Nate Diaz is one of those guys where it's so rare to see him fight along with Conor McGregor. So, I mean, I'm here for it. I'll love to see a trilogy in the Sphere. I'll try to get fucking tickets.
Yeah, no, I mean that's my thing. Like I would, as I said, is it going to be for the UFC lightweight title or welterweight title? Of course not. But I would rather see that as a main event, as you said, of this Sphere than many other UFC pay-per-views we're probably going to get in the next 1 or 2 calendar years.
And speaking of that, you just brought up like an old memory of mine. A thought is like, I'll never forget where Conor and Nate fought for the first time. And it was probably like one of the most buzzed about fight. And that's where it really changed my mind about like the belts. Like and at this point, I don't know how many consecutive title defenses I was at, but it made like a thing. It kind of put on a chip on my shoulder, but not really. Because it was like, I felt like, as always, the champions in the sport of mixed martial arts should be paid the most. Because you're the best in the fucking world. And even though you're the best in the world, it doesn't really translate over to pay-per-view buys, and you don't get paid as much. And so for me, you see these two guys go out there, and they're not the champions, and they make all this money. And I was like, damn, man, like, it'd be nice to be able to have a paycheck like that while being a champion, have that much buzz and people, getting excited to see you fight. I'll never forget that. I remember I have to go look. I think it was the first one. I think I was there at the first one because that's where fucking, yeah, it was the first one because I remember all the Irish fans were so pissed off afterwards. And they're like, I can't believe it. They're in disbelief when he lost. But yeah, I think it was a great podcast. I think it was a great episode. I think it was a great guest. Nate Diaz, he doesn't do much interviews. So
it pained me that I missed it, but he was very late to the interview, to be honest. But the best part was right when it started. He's like, "This is why I was late," and it was right before I hit record. And he just pulls up, like puts weed.
He's just like got all this weed, you know. And I told myself, I was like, you know what? If he doesn't show up, it is what it is. I thank him for giving me the opportunity and messaging me and letting me know, like, hey man, I'm being a little late, but I'm glad it was marijuana because I gave him an excuse. I know he loves that shit, so it is what it is.
No, we're super grateful for his time. I mean, he talked to us for over an hour, so no, it was more of just a funny thing of like, I wish I got that because it was perfect. Just pulling up that I would expect nothing less from Nate Diaz, so it lived up to the hype.
Exactly. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for the Mighty Recap. I am your host, Demetrious Johnson, and as my co-host, Marco Wandsworth. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this episode of the MIGHTYcast and the Mighty Recap, leave a comment below and let us know what was your favorite part of the episode. We will see you beautiful people at the next